So here's an entertaining one about a gal who's freaking out because she was recently rejected by a guy that she really liked. She went out on a coffee date with him. They really clicked, felt like it was promising, and then he found out about her past. That she was very wild and adventurous, if you will, when she was younger, and he was not. He's not that type, and didn't want that as a girlfriend type, so he just said, no thanks. And now she's losing her mind over this great injustice. Title: Me, a 29-year-old female, rejected by a 30-year-old male because of my past. Is this normal, and is this what I can expect? What I tell you guys in all these videos, this is what a lot of these gals have been being strong and empowered, meaning hooking up with every dude in town, is going to expect down the road, because guys don't want to have these types of gals as their girlfriends, and certainly not as their wives. It says here, this absolutely blows. Interesting choice of words here. I met this hella nice guy who was handsome beyond words, and I got to talking to him and we clicked instantly. We share the same hobbies, movies, hell, we even like the same sports teams. We go grab coffee, and while it wasn't really a date, it was a nice get-to-know-you type of thing. I thought things were stellar and going great. We even made plans to go on our first official date. The date goes off without a hitch, and more discussions were had. Come to find out that we both know a lot of the same people, and one of his close friends was a former Friends of Benefits of mine. She says long ago, and haven't seen him in 2 years. Long ago, 2 years is not a long time. Of course, I'm not an idiot and didn't tell him how I knew the guy, but of course, I did say that I knew him. You don't think he's going to find out? Well, obviously, after the date, he must have seen her talk with his friend, because he calls me to break off plans for our next date, and just basically tells me that he doesn't see us being a good match. As is his right. Believe me, women have broken up with guys for far less and have said far less. In fact, this guy, she's lucky he even called her. A lot of gals will just ghost a lot of gals just ghost a guy, or maybe he'll get a quick text if he's lucky. If a girl can break up with a guy and not want to see him again for her reasons, so can a guy. I call bullshit because I know both of us had a great time together, and there was obvious chemistry. Someone's a little full of herself. How dare you break up with me? I want to point out, she's 29 years old. What happens at 29? 29 is the age that a lot of women are really scared, because that big 30's coming around. And that's the number they all fear, because that means they know darn well once that 30's by their name, a lot of guys lose interest. So he finally just admits that not only did his friend tell him about the two of us, also told him about my past. When I was friends with the guy, which by the way, I am now not even going to be his friend anymore at all, because obviously it was never mine. We were both honest and open about it just being SDX, and it was not exclusive. So long story short, this guy tells me that he's not interested in dating someone who's had the past I have had and wasn't going to change his mind. He has every right. And if you're going to throw a freaking big fit about this, tough shit. Again, women have plenty of reasons they break things off with a guy for. Men can do the same thing. Men are allowed to have choices and have standards, God forbid. Needless to say, I was less than thrilled. Yeah, we kind of got that, honey. I mean, it's not like I thought I found a soulmate or anything, so basically I somewhat felt like I dodged a bullet. Trust me, he felt like he dodged one. But on the other hand, I'm now at the point in my life where guys are going to start judging me as a partner for things I've done in my past. Yes, that's how it works, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. And there are consequences to actions. This is where a lot of the gals that listen to this, all the bullshit from the feminists, saying you can pretty much be like any guy, and you're not strong and empowered unless you hook up with every guy in town. You can be just like all those guys out there that do the same thing, even though most guys don't do that, statistically. It's going to come back to bite you in the butt. She says, I've dated around. Interesting way to put it. But I'll be honest, none of these guys were husband material. Nor was I looking for one. But I'm at the point where I'd like to start to see if there's someone out there that I could make a life with. See, she's 29. So is someone's past enough to make you bail on a potential relationship? Yes, of course. You see, women care about the guy's future and guys care about her past. That's how it works. She says, as an update, I'm not sure what to call it. I just got off the phone with my ex-friend to benefits and now ex-friend. Of course, she had to call up the guy and yell at him. I decided I was not going to let this stand and wanted to know what he told him. At first, he tried to paint an innocent picture about what he said about me, but once I pushed, he finally relented and said that he told him that I had sex with multiple times, and I was with multiple guys while I was with him. Of course, the guy I was wanting to be involved with was horrified by this. It's his choice. He said that he's known this guy for a long time and that under no circumstances would I ever be the type of girl who he'd want to be with. This made me flip my shit. What type of girl am I? Good Lord, she really thinks highly of herself. How dare you? We argued for a few more minutes until basically I decided this was going nowhere. He told me that the guy would never be interested in me and that I just need to move on. I'm going to do that, by the way. So this guy was doing his friend a favor because they were probably talking like, oh, I was out on this date with this girl, and he's like, oh yeah, let's see her picture. Saw a picture and he's like, holy shit. He knows his bro. He knows his bro's not going to ever want to be in a relationship with someone like this, so he told him, and he has a right to as a good friend. And he's being made to be they're both. Notice both these guys are the bad guys in her eyes. The situation was reversed. Believe me, girls would tell things about the other guy. So to recap, my former friend is an asshat. Apparently, I'm not worth a good guy touching, and now I'm back to looking for someone. So there you go. This is going to be, you're going to see a lot more of these types of posts and videos on YouTube about that. These gals come out complaining that guys don't want to marry them, relationships, after they find out about their past. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is a lot of them are just going to lie about it. But here's the thing. How many stories have I covered on all three channels when a husband finds out later on down the road that his wife was not exactly who she presented herself to be when they got together? Lied about her number, lied about what she did, all sorts of stuff, and it always comes out. It could take 20 years, but it will come out. And a lot of times these husbands end up ending the relationship, ending the marriage over this because it's just too much. Guys have a right to know about their girl's past, and a girl has a right to know about the guy's past. So if you're not going to be honest with a guy about these things, come back to bite you in the butt. And I might add, this type of thing should have young people, all young people, think twice about their actions when they're younger. Because when you're young, you think, hey, I'm young and free. I'm only going to be young once. Who cares? Damn the consequences. Well, there will be consequences down the road. But most young people don't think about that. And then, of course, instead of having to own up to the fact that you as a young person made dumb mistakes, it's easier just to blame everybody else for, God forbid, having some standards. You know, our society, the narrative says that it's perfectly fine for women to have incredible amounts of standards towards guys. I mean, we know the laundry list of demands they want to have for a guy, the perfect guy. It's ridiculous. But the second a man has any standards, God forbid, he is the root of all evil for dare doing such a thing. So, no. Guys are allowed to have standards too, and if they don't want to date or be involved with a woman that's had quite an adventurous past, if you will, then that's his choice, and he's not the root of all evil for doing so. But, again, in today's world, the way the narrative is, he is the bad guy. So that'd be a pretty funny one to go over here.